if it wasn't for running, like I wouldn't have even attempted an Ironman because you have to run in it, right? Yeah, I've used it as a tool to create like my mindset. I think and really help me understand how to endure, how to go through pain for a long period of time, how to get through the pain and keep going, overcome. It goes away. It doesn't last forever.
Yeah.
It goes away at some point, and you can keep moving along.
I think as long as you do your homework, like I've learned a lot of lessons just watching your journey, alongside you. So I think that's for me. That's what helped me at least get started at the high school.
Yeah.
Dude, my heart was fucking pounding out of my chest, dude.
Yeah.
And those short little sprints, to me, that's what running is. Running fucking hurts.
Yeah.
It's time we unite, yeah. Put our differences aside, yeah. And fight for our lives, yeah. I said the haters in the
Welcome
mall,
back, guys, to another episode of the Nesian podcast. It's the podcast for Pacific Islanders, where we tell our stories and our lessons of our journey to help you on yours. And today's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be a shorter one, just something topic we wanted to kind of hit on because it is something that people kind of know us for at this point, and like with the brand and everything.
Yeah.
And kind of it's a focus for us this year with creating the Nesian Built Run Club, and even with the MB Fit stuff, that's still going to be with the weight stuff and strength training stuff. That's still going to be, there's still going to be some kind of cardio involved in that whole thing, the group workouts and stuff. So today we just kind of want to talk about why it was running that kind of, I guess,
Kicked it off.
Yeah, kicked all of this off, and then it's turned into running marathons and other races and everybody else kind of getting into it and stuff. And I know it's the main reason why we wanted to talk about it was because it is something that not a lot of people like doing. Like even before we started, it wasn't something I even like doing. Me and you used to talk about it a lot especially when we were lifting weights. Like, we don't run, bro. Like, we do not run. We lift weights and we eat heavy. Like,
closest thing to cardio we had was your HIIT workouts that you would piece together.
Yeah, like when we went to the park, right? When we did stuff like that.
That's the only time I got my heart rate up.
Yeah, and it's like especially when I got out of the Army, like I was real big on like, I'm not running again, dude. Like, I hated running. I hated running in the Army, and I hated running even before that. Like, if I go back to when I was playing ball back in Saipan, like growing up, we didn't run long distance a lot ever, right? And I was more of like a sprinter, and a lot of us like are sprinters, right? We can do that. We can do those short distance, like high intensity sprints. But running long distance, like for real, when I was even in college, when we had to run like 4 miles, I thought that was insane, bro. Like, it was so far, it hurt so much, and I used to be so jealous of guys that could just run it with no problem. Like guys that came out of high school that were part of track and field or cross country, stuff like that. But I just hated it. I dreaded it. But it was something that I knew I had to do because if I wanted to be a pitcher, I needed, that endurance in my leg, that power in my legs and stuff like that. So I did it anyway. I wasn't very good at it. I was very super average at it. And then I go into the Army, and I mean, you got to run. Like, that's part of the game. That's part of being a soldier. That's part of, you have a PT test that you got to run a timed 2-mile run for. And we had to do that. You had to, no matter how much you liked it or not, you had to be able to pass that portion of the test, right? And even at my very best, this is like how average I am. Like, even at my very best, there's guys running 2 miles in like 11 minutes, 10 minutes some. My fastest, bro, like after basic training, like when our last PT test for basic training, that's the last one that was like recorded for me, like when kind of like, well, when all basic training was done, my fastest one was 12 minutes and 45 seconds. So to get 100 points in that age group during that time, to get 100 points in that portion was 13 minutes.
Oh, dang.
So yeah, 12:45, my fastest, right? And that's not, for me, I was like stoked, but I was happy, bro. Like, I've never ran that damn fast, for that far. Yeah. But some guys, it was like nothing. And bro, and then when I got to my unit, some guys were running 10:30. Like, dude, for me, that was insane. Like,
the whole 2 miles, you mean?
Yeah, the whole 2 miles, like 10:30, 2 miles. So that stuff was crazy to me. So that's why, like, it's not something that, I ever really enjoyed, whether it was in the Army and baseball growing up. And
It's never really on your radar.
Yeah, it was never something I thought I would get into, like as deep as I'm into it now,
Mhm.
you know? And I think it's all because of like the flip in what I see it as now, and that my perspective on it, and how I learned over time to kind of adjust and actually enjoy it. And now I kind of see it more as a tool for to become the person that I ultimately want to become down the road, right? So because of all the things that it's taught me during this time, like if it wasn't for running, like I wouldn't have even attempted an Ironman because you have to run in it, right? You know, I wouldn't be, and it really just gives you a different like sense, like compared to lifting weights, because I used to lift weights all the time. It used to be a real big part of like, you know, everything, army, um, you know, after the army, that's really my workout was just lifting. It wasn't a bunch of running. During that time, it was probably running maybe once every 2 weeks, like if that,
Yeah.
you know. So it's like it's taught me a lot about, you know, having, it's like how much it makes you feel like good having that cardiovascular endurance and, you know, that kind of fitness, as well as being able to lift weights and, you know, lift heavy weights and stuff like that. And I've also like understanding that one of the biggest issues, especially in the American culture and even back home in our culture back home, the biggest problem that we have are heart problems, right? So if we know that we're people that don't enjoy cardiovascular exercise, right? And we have those big issues with cardiovascular problems, right?
Yeah.
You know, along with the foods that we eat and stuff like that, and we don't do that. There's a way we can kind of fix that problem, right? Like we get more involved and more into these kind of things. Whether it's, I mean, it doesn't have to be running, but like walking and little more stuff like that, right? And I've used it. I feel like I've used it as a tool to create like my mindset. I think and really help me understand how to endure, how to go through pain for a long period of time, how to get through the pain and keep going, overcome. It goes away. It doesn't last forever. It goes away at some point and you can keep moving along, you know? And that's something that through the last 3 years since I've been running a lot more and just feeling that compared to the years before, it's very different mindset and very different feeling and very different view on fitness overall, you know? And I've seen it even, especially in the last 2 years, where even just my like my physique and the way my body looks and my composition, it looks very different when I'm running and lifting and when I'm just lifting. Like my body changes. My body's changed so many times in these last couple of years, and I've seen the differences and felt the differences when I was running and when I wasn't running. So that's why, like, I know when I run and lift, I feel my very best. I feel my very best. I don't have to swim. Swimming doesn't have to be part of it, and biking doesn't have to be part of it. But I really do feel my best and my like overall fitness, and and just like mentally and just overall physically, everything just feels way better when I'm doing the two, you know. And it's not. And the best part about it is I'm not. A lot of the time, I'm not overexerting. I'm not hurting myself. I'm not getting injured. So I'm able to do it for a long period of time. If you know how to do it right, then you can do it for a long period of time, you know? And that's something we picked up.
Yeah. I think that's where people end up starting and stopping because you come out of the gate too hot. You get burned out. You get tired. You get sore. It hurts. Pain sucks. You don't want to experience pain. And you give up.
Yeah.
I know I've done that over the years myself.
Yeah. And that's why most people, like we've talked about that, like where people don't enjoy running as much.
Yeah.
Because you, like we said, you kind of expect, all right, I'm going to go out and I'm going to run, you know, these 2 miles, and then you run it hard as hell.
Yeah.
It's not enjoyable like that. You know what I mean? And you're kind of forcing your body to do too much too quick. And then that's where injuries start happening and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the injury part always comes when you just go too fast and you load up on miles and speed and everything too fast. Heart rate just jacked every time you run. All those things, like those are things that I also wasn't aware of when I started. So that's also a reason why, right? I don't enjoy it. I'm just running. I just want to run fast, and I'm so worried about pace all the time. You know,
I thought about that just recently too, like wanting to be able to run faster and do all that stuff. It's that instant gratification. You want it now. You know what I mean? So, if I run it harder, faster, I'll get it faster. But
that's not how
I think it requires patience, a lot more patience.
And we'll get to that. We'll get to that. That is a point that we'll make about the whole like running game, right? And but so the two marathons, right? My first two marathons that I trained for got injured, and mentioned this a couple of times, right? Where it's going hard, like I was wearing carbon plated shoes and I was just running fast because all I cared about, I'm looking at my watch and I wanted paces all the time, right? And that's the reason why, like, I'll show my paces now, like I'll post my paces and on my story. I'm not ashamed of it, you know. Like, that's easy runs are easy runs for a reason, right? And that's why, like, I know that I can run every day now. Like, my goal this year to run 3 miles, at least 3 miles for the whole year, every day of the year. It's based off of that. That I go on. A lot of it is a lot of easy, slow runs. Because if I go out hot and I'm out here trying to run fucking 8, sub 7 minute miles, I'm gonna get hurt. And I will not. My body cannot keep up with that. My body will not be able to sustain that over a long period of time. You know, that's why when you train for marathons and you have all these different like you have all these different types of workouts, right? So you have these, like, you have days that are hard and you have days, majority of the days are just easy long runs, right? Or easy runs. And that's it. Train your heart, train your body to get used to being on your feet and doing it for a long period of time. But when you push too hard and you overexert and you're doing it for a long period of time, which most of the time running is, right? You're running for 45 minutes plus a lot of the time. So if you're doing that, then you're overexerting for a long period of time, and then that you can't take that into the next day. Your body's fatigued. Now you can't run the next day, right? So
tell me about it.
You know, it really is a learning process, and it's something that you know, I'm really glad that I got into, because, like I said, I'm very average at it, but I love what it teaches me, and where it brings my mind to, and how I have to handle and manage all the emotions, all the physical you know, things that's going on with my body, so that I can manage it and make sure that I can show up the next day too, right? And that'll bring us into the point that you just brought up, patience. Huge thing, man. I'm telling you, like, running alone has taught me so much and about patience, because it takes a long time for you to get
where you want to go.
To get where you,
as far as running.
And it takes, and because you have to really build your body and your engine to be able to, like, especially run long distances and stuff like that, right? And a lot of the time, people, like you just said, they want the instant gratification. It's hard to get to that point. It doesn't take 2 weeks. It takes a lot longer than that, man. It's more than one run. It's more than, you know, a week of running, a month of running. It takes a while for you to build that, and you even with that time, you have to do it in a certain way to where you're not hurting yourself, you know, or you're actually building the right system so that you can run for a longer period of time, you know. And I just think that it's taught me so much about, you know, going through it and managing so that you can go show up the next day. You know what I mean? And knowing that, like, a lot of times a problem that's happening to you right now, like, you can get through that, and then on the other side of that, it's like it never even happened. You know what I mean? It's like a challenge you went through, but then you got through it. As long as you stay focused on what you're on, the task at hand, right? Stay focused on the task at hand, and you just keep moving forward, just keep pushing forward. You can get there. Just keep pushing, you know, and don't focus too much on that problem that you're having at that point, right? So, like, a point that I really want to connect with that is, like, during the marathon, this past marathon, Seattle. When I started cramping, I think early on, like maybe my first or second marathon, I would have reacted very differently. But because I've been through it before and I knew what it felt like and how far I could push it, I was able to just keep running through it, you know, until it finally really, you know, kind of the cramps locked up on me. But I was feeling it for a very long time. They kept getting tighter and tighter. They loosen up every now and then. It's like, oh, I might be good. They get tighter and tighter, and then it's like, you know, but before, you know, knowing that and going through that and understanding how far I can push my body, I would have just stopped. It's like, oh, this hurts. This sucks. There's no way I'm going to be able to finish this. You know, I have to walk it. I have to walk it. You know,
because you would have never felt that pain. It's not familiar to you.
Yeah.
So of course your natural reaction is going to be stop. Stop the pain.
You
know.
So you learn how to go through those things and manage it. And it's just like anything, right? Anything you're doing, that's, the more you just put yourself out there and you expose yourself to it, you're going to learn more and more about how to deal with the issues, right? And how to deal with the problems so that you can keep pushing forward. And the big thing with running is with on the patient side of it again, it's taught me so much about how we're just talking about going through the problems and going through different things and understanding that it's going to take a long time. Like, that's a really big thing to me right now. I look like far out, right? So like, if something's happening right now, how does this affect, 5 years from now, 3 years from now, whatever, right? And I kind of take that into being a dad, like when my kids are they're doing stuff like, I'm a lot more patient now now, and I can have conversations with them that I couldn't have before. They came out, or it was vocalized to them in a very different way. And being patient and understanding that, okay, this is a natural progression of, a kid being a kid, and this is the things he's going to think about. These are the things they're going to do. You don't have to expect them to be a fucking full-grown adult at 9 years old. You know what I mean? Like, just stuff like that. Just being patient, understanding the process. And because I've had to go through this, especially training process for marathons. Like, they have taught me just so much about being patient and not trying to rush everything.
Yeah.
Just know that you have to make your mistakes. You have to go through those issues, and then at the end, those lessons will come back, and you'll be able to bring those back up into situations that you can call back on, right? And then use them right there. You have the solution because you went through it, right? So I like to use that a lot with my kids. I know it's taught me how to really just slow down, stay in the moment, focus on the task at hand, and fix what we have in front of us.
Yeah.
But running's, that's been a really big piece. At least, especially in like the fatherhood piece, and obviously marriage too. Just dealing with the problems, man. Like, just dealing with the problems, like knowing that, dude, the pain is temporary. It's almost always temporary.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever done a parallel like that before. I never thought about it like that in that sense, as far as raising kids or whatever.
Do you think, like, do you know what I mean with it, though?
I know what
like,
you mean, though. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's what I said last time when I talked about my marathons. Like, dude, it sucked. It hurt. But I knew going through those other long runs what that pain felt like, and knowing that it's not going to last forever.
Yeah.
Just got to keep pushing through, and you'll get through it.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah, because that's like I've mentioned it before, like how on like mile 8, usually mile 8 is like my best mile. I always feel the best at around mile 8, but I always know, right? Like, I know I'm gonna start feeling my best at mile 8, but I know
it's not over.
I still know at mile 21, 22, I'm gonna feel a lot of pain. So how, like, you go into it knowing that. You know what I mean? Like, I already know going into it, that's where I'm gonna really feel a lot of pain. From mile 20 to 24, basically, I'm gonna feel a lot of pain somewhere in that area. I'm going into it already knowing that.
You're anticipating it.
Yeah, I expect it to happen.
Expecting it. Yeah.
And my whole focus is managing that, right? So once I get to those, I want to get to mile 8. I want to feel real good and get through the other miles. Once I get to 20, here it comes. How are we going to do? How are we going to manage it this time? How are we going to do it? What are we going to feel, and how are we going to get through it? It's not focusing on the fact that I'm hurting. It's focusing, how do I get out of it?
That's a good way
how do I stop it? How do I find the solution for it? I'm not focusing on, oh, this hurts. I'm focusing, how do I keep pushing, and how do I get out of it?
Yeah.
Right. So that's a really big thing that I think just running alone has really just brought me, because I love lifting weights, but that's just a whole different thing. I feel like that, over the past couple of years that I've learned, it's just, lifting is one thing, but running has just done I feel like just way more for me, even though, and I feel like, I know a lot of people don't like running, but, and like we just said, we didn't either, like, but I love it because I know it's a tool. It's just a tool, and it's pushed me to do things that I know a lot of people just won't do because running just sucks. But
I think as long as you do your homework, like I've learned a lot of lessons just watching your journey, alongside you. So I think that's for me, that's what helped me at least get started. With the running, is knowing that it's not just fucking putting your shoes on and going, dude.
Yeah.
Because that's what running was to me before. Like that little workout circuit thing that we did with Zach at the high school.
Yeah.
Dude, my heart was fucking pounding out of my chest, dude. And those short little sprints, to me, that's what running is. Running fucking hurts.
Yeah.
And I think that's
whole time.
Yeah. For everybody who doesn't run, who's never thought of it, that's probably what it is to them.
Yeah.
Of course I'm not gonna fucking run a 5K or a 10K or a marathon, because that shit sucks. It hurts.
Yeah.
But if you know how to do it right, you can ease your way into it where it doesn't hurt.
It doesn't hurt as much.
As much.
Either way,
Right,
it
yeah,
hurts.
yeah.
But
It doesn't hurt as much.
and then that same thing, right? Then you can manage it, but you learn how to manage
Yeah,
that pain
yeah.
also. And that's like that's the I feel like the bread and butter of like running, like just going through it and managing. Because I bet a lot of people like think that, you know, if they follow me or whatever, and they've seen, you know, some of the videos, that it's just you're just fucking going balls off the wall, like going
That's what it
crazy,
looks
just
like.
running hard, you know. Like for some people, like my paces might be slow. So for some people, it might be fast as hell.
Fast to me,
you know,
for sure.
but
Yeah.
but it's my pace, right?
Yeah.
It's my pace. It's the paces that I know I need to go to build what I need to build. So like, I don't compare it to anybody because I know what I'm trying to do and I know what I'm, you know, where I'm trying to be with it. I'm not trying to be an elite fucking athlete. I'm just trying to build my cardiovascular fitness, you know, and build my engine so that when I run these marathons, it just gets, not that it gets easier and easier, but that I learn through the runs and all the training how to manage my body, because my body's going to be being put through more and more. And that's like a big point of why, like, running these miles, like lately, just in what day is it?
9th.
It's the 9th day. So I've ran 10 straight days now for the first time. I'd never done that before. I've never ran 10 straight days before, and I'm going to run 365 days straight.
That's crazy.
But I've never ran 10 days before, and I've noticed already, and I was thinking that it could be the cold, but I don't think it's that, because I've ran in the cold. Last year I was running 28 degrees and stuff like that. Wasn't the same thing, wasn't the same effect. But just 10 days of running straight, my average heart rate is already dropping dramatically at the paces that I normally are at a different, you know, heart rate.
Or higher.
Right? So like usually I want to sit at around 145. Yeah. And usually I'm there at a 930 pace. You know, that's the comfortable pace that I can run and feels perfectly fine. And the last couple of days I've been doing that pace or even a little bit faster, and I was sitting at under 140. Like today, I think I only did 3 miles today, but I did 3 miles, and I think it was like it was around 930 pace, and just easy miles, 131 average, bro. That's showing me that my body is becoming efficient. My body
that's what I was gonna say.
It's
that's
using
what
energy
what's his
properly.
name talked about too. How over time, Nick Bear.
Yeah.
Over time, it's not that he had all these crazy classes to teach him form and all that. You know, he might have looked up a couple things, but just over time and of doing it so many times, eventually his body just became
it starts
better at moving it.
It just starts adapting and becoming efficient. It's using your energy. It's moving. It's basically trying to move your body in the most efficient manner to get the most out of it, right? And I've been noticing that, and because
it's probably better if you start out doing it the right way, because if you're just gonna full throttle, it probably won't adapt.
No, fuck
in that way.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
it probably just get worse, you get hurt, you get injured, like you were saying earlier.
And it's the same way, like when you just start off a run, you don't just once you're about to start your watch, boom, just full send. Nobody does that. I mean, maybe some people do, maybe you should, but you shouldn't. But you just, like, if you're gonna run a marathon, you're definitely not doing that. You're easing into that. You're gonna your first mile, first 1 to 3 miles is gonna be should be your slowest, you know, and that's just easing into it, getting your body, you know, primed for what's about to happen. And it's the same way with these. Like, as you start building and getting, you know, having more miles throughout the week, your body starts, you know, understanding, becoming more efficient. And I've never ran more than, you know, I think for training for marathons, most of the time I was only running, I think at the most 4 times a week. So to be running 7 days a week, like, that's doing my body, that's really working my body to teach itself to become efficient if we're going to do this, right? And I already almost felt like I was about to get injured last week or earlier this week. I thought it was already coming because I ran so many consecutive days that I've never done before that I thought my body was already about to, you know, feel that. Or I just went out too hot kind of thing again, right? But I think because of, you know, the strength training that's involved over time, over all this time, and all the running that I've already done, my body kind of adapted very quickly and didn't let the injury happen. It was just stronger. It's easy. It's more durable than it normally would be if I didn't strength train or run as much as I do. So yeah, the big point right there is just the more consistent you are with it, the better you can build your body to do it and more efficient you get. But that takes time. Like it really does take time. And even me, I'm still I'm still figuring it out. I'm still learning so many things while I'm doing it. And that's one of the biggest parts of running is just it's a learning process throughout. Like you're never gonna master the stuff. Like you're gonna keep figuring out how to get better. You're gonna keep figuring out, learning different, different workouts you can do to test yourself and, enjoy it more. Just enjoy the process more of getting better at it. And like I said, I've really never felt better in the mix that I have now with the amount of the amount of miles I'm running, which I never thought I would be able to reach the amount of miles that I've been running, in a year or whatever, like over 1,000 miles in a year. Never would have thought I would be able to do stuff like that. And this year's going to be more than even last year. So just thinking that, over time, like how much you can build your body to do certain things. And that really requires your mind to be able to push you to do those things too, because every day is going to be a day where, not every day, but you're going to have way more days that tell you don't feel like doing it, you're too tired, or you shouldn't. And I had that last week too. I had a couple of days like really just like that, like I shouldn't go out there and run because this injury might, come get me, and I might have to stop either way. But, I still have to challenge that. I feel like I still have to challenge that thought and let's see what's out there for. Let's see. And as soon as I got out there that day when my mind's telling me don't go on this run, I go on the run and my leg's perfectly fine. Like it's hurting when I'm walking around, but when I was running, I felt fine. Like nothing was there, So if I would have listened at that point, I wouldn't have got that run in, and I wouldn't learn that.
It's another little check mark for yourself.
I would have just thought I was injured if I didn't just go for that run, But when I'm injured, I know when I'm injured. Like for sure. Yeah. Like I know when I'm injured. But that was just like one of those things. I'm scared if I don't take care of it now, it might linger and then I won't be able to accomplish the goal that I set out.
Well, I was trying to say that's another learning point for you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's what I meant to say.
Big time.
Yeah.
But, yeah. And, like, these are the things and the reasons why, like, I'm sure you've learned a lot, like, and you had to train from basically not running to 5K, 10K, the half marathon last year, and the Seattle Marathon this year. For a bigger guy, that's a lot of miles for stuff. That's a lot of running that normally people would not see you doing, right? But they wouldn't expect you to run those kind of miles.
I would tell people I'm running a marathon. They look at me like, "What? Are you serious?"
Yeah.
They thought I was joking. Like, no, yeah, I've already done a 5K, 10K and a half.
Yeah.
So like, whoa, that's crazy. Yeah. So you're absolutely correct. They would not expect me to.
Yeah, like it's
not to even want to.
Yeah, and that's because, bro, running has such a low barrier of entry, right? Yeah. Like you literally just need shoes in your feet, like, and you can go, dog. Yeah. Like that's it, and that's why it's crazy to me that not more people do it. Or I think a lot of people do it, right? But a lot of our people don't do it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like a lot of our people just don't like it, and I get
it's not a norm.
I was there. I understand why. Like I just said, I didn't fucking enjoy running until like the last 3 years when I figured it out and how to and what it does for me, like mentally, physically, all of that. Until I figured that out, that's when I really could stick with it. The main points was I knew I didn't have to hurt every run. Like I shouldn't be in pain every run. I shouldn't be gasping for air every run.
And that's what I thought running was.
Yeah. See, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like we didn't know those things. And this is what I think a lot of like our people just don't know. They just think that each run is supposed to be some fucking heart attack, lung, you're just gasping for air. That's not what it's supposed to be. And building your engine it just takes a lot of those like easy miles, like a lot of those easy runs where you feel comfortable and it's controlled, I
think that's that plays a trick with people too. Like, well, if the run's comfortable, then I'm not doing anything.
Yeah. And
am I really building something right here? Am I really building my aerobic base?
Mm-hmm.
If it feels all right,
I mean, just think about it.
People think they have to feel the pain.
Yeah.
Which sure you have to, but majority of it doesn't have to be that way.
That's the Army, bro. That was the Army way of doing it. I'm fucking telling you. Every time we went out for runs, it hurt. It just sucked. It was just fast. There was never any comfortable runs. You know what I mean? Like everything just we had to go fast. Like if you're in a group, if you're in the fast group, you're going fast.
You keep with the group.
You got to stick with them, and if you don't, you're a dirtbag. So that's just how it was, and that's why that's what we expect when we, when I come out of that, and I'm want to go run on my own. Let's go make this hurt. Like, no, I'm not doing that no more. You know what I mean? And it's made it so that I've been able to run way more often and get in way more miles and stuff like that. Yeah. Like I just, we don't pay attention to paces. I don't really care about that stuff, other than when it comes to times when I want to see what my marathon is going to look like, or what my goal is when I'm aiming for something. Even when I'm aiming for a goal for the marathon, like a marathon pace, I'm not my easy runs. Those paces I don't even pay attention to. All I pay attention to is my heart rate, and I build off of that. Yeah. So these are things that I really want to pass on, like the lessons, and getting more people interested in it, because it is a good way to stay healthy. It's a good way to help with the issues that we just talked about with the cardiovascular issues that our people face a lot of the time. And those are major problems. Like if our heart is not functioning like at its best, when we can have pretty good control over that, when we can make that happen, that kind of sucks to me. That bothers me a lot, because we can fix that. And even just through these lessons that we learn, like you don't have to hate running. Like, you know what I mean? I've learned to love it, and I'm fucking older now. I'm about to be 36 years old, but my heart is probably healthier than it's ever been because of the amount of running that I do. You know what I mean? And the amount of cardio that I do, and I enjoy it. It's not going out to hurt myself, to punish myself so that I can fix my heart, or make my heart stronger and better. It's a tool that I enjoy using that tool and building myself. And I love breaking a sweat and just knowing that I did some work that day and it wasn't insanely painful. It doesn't have to be. You have days that are like that. You definitely have hard days where you should run hard and get a good fucking anaerobic workout, but that's not every day. You know what I mean? It shouldn't be like that. And with the run club, this is really why I wanted to, start it, because I wanted to get more people out there and show them, how we've learned to love it and the things that it's taught us, and how it could possibly do the same thing for you. I just think that having a group like that, and having, more people around us that have kind of experienced it and can show, why, we enjoy it, and the lessons that we learned. And, when it comes down to even just the shoes and the stuff that you eat before runs, and, there's so many things that I don't even think about sometimes when I see somebody, posting about a run, or they're about to go do a run, what they're about to eat before a run, what they eat after a run, and how they're hydrating. Like that stuff's, stuff that they just don't know, but we learned along the journey. Right. And it's like the same idea with water, bro. Like the fact that just so many people think that I'm going to go on this run, I need a lot of water. You don't need a lot of water. You actually need a lot more salt or electrolytes than you need water. You know what I mean? But that's just little things that we pick up along the way. And I think there's so many of those factors keep our people from doing an activity like running, or enjoying it when they do it. So the run club, in the local area, the group that we get together that's here, and when we can get together, these are the kind of things that we're going to, let people know, show them if they're, I'm not going to be out here being like a damn instructor. I'm not fucking a professional at all. I just, whatever I've learned, I want to
share the knowledge that you
whatever I've learned that, so my pain can lessen the pain that you have to go through, basically. Right. And we just want to pass those lessons on. And then all the people, so like,
that's what's good. Spoken like a true parent.
And like all the people that are even outside. So like people that are in different cities, states, whatever, we're going to have the Facebook group on there. And then we're going to be posting what we do. We're going to be posting content on there so people know what we're doing. And then anything that comes up, maybe that, pops up during the groups here, if questions pop up or something came up that I think would help the group, rest. The people that are outside, that, some kind of point that was made during a run, or like something that somebody just learned, good point that we can put on the, on the Facebook group. We're going to put that out just so it's information passed on to everybody that's part of it, even if you're outside of, the local run group. So those things, and we'll be posting mileage and what we do, and it's nothing crazy. We're not gonna be doing anything crazy. I really want it to be enjoyable.
It's not an elite run club.
It's not.
No.
So far from that.
Yeah.
I do want it to challenge people, and I do want it to challenge people. I do want it to get them somewhat out of their comfort zone at certain points. Not all the damn time, but at certain points, we'll do things that'll get you, outside of your comfort zone, a little bit past what you think you can do. Yeah. Push you a little bit harder than you think you could normally push, and that's just to build, like, your confidence in what you're capable of. And that's, how I've always done it, and what I believe works the best. It's just little by little, we're building the confidence and understanding there's more. You have more in there.
Yeah.
You have more in the tank. We just have to get it out,
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be something that, like I said, I'm really focused on that this year. That's why I don't want to like train and for a bunch of different races and stuff like that. It's a really big focus that I want to pass on this stuff. And as I'm getting better at it, I want to pass on. And as I learn more, I want to pass on those things. And it's obviously you've experienced it, so you can also do it and, pass on information that you've learned. So no holding back. Mark's going to be so on the first one, we're going at Mark's pace. Everybody in Mark's pace.
I'm going to hold down the back of the pack.
Oh shit.
It's funny how you say, you want to kind of push people just a little bit. It was like in the back of my head, I'm like, you always do that. Even when we worked out, you always threw an extra couple pounds in there just to test.
Or extra couple reps, just something little.
Extra couple reps, yeah. That's why I cracked a smile when he said that. I was like, yeah, he does do that.
That's just.
But I mean, it helps you grow.
Yeah, because it does. You're not gonna get it all in one day. You're not gonna get it all in one workout. You just stack them little by little, and eventually you get some growth. Yeah, and that's what we want. But yeah, I don't know. I think I hit on.
Cover it all.
I think pretty much everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
I really just do enjoy running, and it's something that I'm gonna do for a very long time, and I know I will because of what I know it does for me, and what it's gonna do for like even my kids, and our family. So.
And there's probably people out there who have thought about it.
Yeah.
So to those who have thought about it, just give it a shot.
Yeah.
Give it a try.
Yeah, for sure.
If I can do it, you can.
Yeah,
that's facts.
It's just,
and I'm not even anywhere close to being good at doing it. So, but I do enjoy it.
Yeah, and I think honestly, like when we go to these races, I'm not saying people should go race or anything or do like marathons and stuff like that. I'm not saying that. I just think running the activity alone can, it's like one of the best things you can do for yourself. Just for your health. And
the coolest thing along the journey is just for me, when I'm in the middle of a run. And I really kind of pull back and say, yeah, I just did 5 miles.
Yeah. There's
no way I would have done that. How many 2-3 years ago?
Yeah.
And I feel okay. I feel fine. I feel great. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
At mile 5. It's just a crazy thought.
Yeah.
So that's a cool experience, hopefully other people can experience, in their journey.
And that's the
for people who are just starting.
You literally just have to get on your 2 legs and you get out and put some shoes and just go. Like that's literally it. And that's why it's such a, other than walking, like I think it's just a really, really basic, but crucial thing we can do to make change in, our health. And you don't need to buy anything special. You don't have to do anything special, but just get outside and run, man. Like even just the fact that just getting out in the elements, like me having to every day have to deal with whatever element is out there, If it's raining, it's windy, if it's sunny, whatever. I get to experience that. And I get to be able to decide when I wake up in the morning, do I want to run in that or am I going to try to avoid it? Doesn't matter. You just deal with it. Those are just the little battles you have to go through every time you want to go for a run.
Yeah.
But if you just push yourself, you push yourself through those battles of the things that you can't control, but you can still get out there and run anyway. Those are things that are going to help with your, your mentality, your mindset, either way, right? And that's just because you're going to go out for a run. It's not because you won some war or you won some, you did anything major. You didn't do anything major. You won a little battle, but that builds over time because you have to do it so many times and prove to yourself that, you can overcome little things that you can't control, basically.
Yeah.
So big part of my life now for sure. And I'm going to do it for a long time. Promise I'll never be somebody that's super great at it, but I learned a lot from it either way. So I will keep doing it, and I do want to get better at it, but to a certain point, where as long as it doesn't, invade or affect everything else in a negative way, as long as it doesn't do that, then because of the time commitments and stuff like that, then we're good. But other than that, yeah, running is what we're doing now.
We've been doing.
Well, yeah,
what you've been doing.
Yeah. And got a race in just a couple weeks. I think 5 weeks now. I think we're about 5-6 weeks now, something like that. Wait. Yeah. So we got 13 miles this week, 18 miles next week, 20 the week after that. Then we taper down. We're off to Austin, Texas.
That's your long runs?
Who would have thought, bro? Yeah, who would have thought I'd be traveling to run a marathon, bro?
That's when it's taking over your life.
Oh, shit.
When you go out of state to do a race. It's slowly creeping on you.
It's going to be the first traveling one.
Yeah.
The first traveling marathon number 5.
It is for you?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you might have done something
Tacoma and Seattle, bro. That's it. 2 and 2.
Okay, yeah.
It's going to be the first traveling one in Austin, Texas. That's going to be 5 marathons in 26 months, bro. Yeah.
Whoa, yeah.
5 marathons in 26 months. Crazy. Going from not even thinking I'd ever run that. I remember when I brought it up to Ching too, when we were on the couch after I think we just did the 20-miler at Sioux Creek.
Oh, yeah.
And then I was like, we got to try a marathon. And then she was like, you're crazy. And fucking 5
She had
later,
never run anything like that before that either?
No, nothing, dude. We were just 4-mile run people, every now and then. That was it. She was more of a runner. Yeah. She stuck to running more than she did like lifting weights or anything. But now she does both also. So, yeah.
Just a couple of hybrid athletes over here.
No, I wouldn't say hybrid athletes. It's hybrid, lifestyle, I guess.
Yeah.
But that's what it is, man. And it's longevity, running, lifting, build muscle, stay lean.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I'll be there someday.
That's the episode, guys. Hey, we thank you for joining us on this one. And, like we said, it's just a piece of the pie that we know can help, with a lot of the issues that our people face when it comes to health, at least. And that's why we're going to move more and more towards the goals that we originally set for what Nesian Build is ultimately going to be. So this is a piece of that pie, and we hope that you get to join us when we do start the Nesian Build Run Club, and when we start up Nesian MB Fit. It's going to be a good ass time. I promise you that. Even though sometimes it might hurt a little bit, but you know the deal. Go out, be your best. Always do the shit out of style.
All that difference is a side, and fight for our lives, yeah. I said the haters in the morning way before the sunrise.